thieves have become increasingly sophisticated.
Toward the beginning of November, a group of thieves broke into electrical boxes and stole copper wiring from at least 20 light poles along the spaghetti bowl.
They used power tools. We think they used a grinder. They actually used power spools to rip out copper wiring.
The damage knocked out the lights along the roadway, and right now only about 30% of the area has lighting. Tony Elia, the spokesperson for NDOT, has this message for drivers.
We're simply advising motorists if they have to pass through the Spaghetti Bowl corridor at night here over the next few weeks to just be alert and use a little additional caution. Make sure that your vehicle is in proper working order with 2 functioning headlights.
Elia believes the rising price of copper could be behind this brazen heist.
As a result of skyrocketing copper prices, they are stealing on wholesale level. I mean, this is a commercial scale theft.
The estimated cost for repairs is $140,000. NDOT hopes to have the entire spaghetti bowl relit by Thanksgiving. That was until a few days ago when the thieves struck again. Thankfully, NDOT put different measures into place and the crooks weren't able to get away with anything this time. But they still caused more damage and delayed the re-illumination project for 3 to 4 weeks.
There will be consequences for your actions.
Ilya says they're working with Metro Police to catch those responsible, and they're thinking ahead on how to thwart future thieves.
As far as future preventive measures, we are actually engineering certain design safety protocols in future projects that would make it more difficult to access electrical boxes.
In Las Vegas, I'm Gabby Hart, News 3.
Well, Marie, with the directive in place for 3 weeks, these restaurants I spoke with say they're doing whatever they can to meet those guidelines, but at the same time, they're working hard to make sure that they can also make ends meet.
It's not possible for us or restaurants of our type to switch on in one day on notice to a completely different type of business.
The owners of Big B's Texas Barbecue frustrated restaurants must now require reservations.
We don't have a waiter staff. We don't have a hostess or reservation system in place.
Their 2 locations operate as fast casual, meaning you order your food and they bring it to your table. But the owners say the reservation rule doesn't make sense.
I don't see how it makes any difference. So the virus only attacks people that don't make reservation, but doesn't attack those that do.
Fast food restaurants also have to take reservations. Tim Thomas, who owns 10 McDonald's across the Vegas Valley, is not concerned.
I had just 2 lobbies that were open, and I just recently closed those 2. It's easier because taking reservations at McDonald's is not really practical.
You can still order and pick up food inside, but Thomas says it's the drive-through that's really been a lifesaver during the pandemic.
Our sales are actually up over last year for all of the stores on an average in the Las Vegas Valley. That would warrant hiring more employees, and so that's exactly what we've done.
Locale Italian Kitchen was already taking some reservations, but the transition to reservation only has made things a bit more complicated.
For being in a suburb where a lot of our business comes from, the local family or the local couple saying, where are we going to go eat tonight?
Owner Andy Hooper says those families don't typically think to call ahead for a table. He's also worried about the 25% capacity, but is hopeful other options will help.
We've had a really great support system from the local community and doing curbside takeout and delivery. The apps have been great for us.
In Las Vegas, I'm Tiffany Lane reporting.
A steady stream of people headed into the Cashman Center's COVID-19 test location today as the coronavirus continues to spread in southern Nevada. In Clark County, 2,219 new cases, 51 new hospitalizations, and 14 new deaths reported today. UNLV Assistant Professor Brian Labus has a background in infectious disease epidemiology, which includes outbreak investigations and disease surveillance. He's also on the governor's medical advisory team. He says more people are getting tested because there's more disease now in the community. The demand is there and will be if disease transmission continues like it currently is.
In Northern Nevada, they've had to cut back on their ability to test asymptomatic people. So they're focusing on those who are sick, which means there's a strong demand for the testing. We're not at that point yet, but if numbers keep increasing, it's likely we will eventually reach that point. And that's why we need to do things to stop disease transmission, because that has a ripple effect through everything that we're doing in the community, including testing.
The deputy fire chief for the Office of Emergency Management told us Tuesday afternoon there is no indication Southern Nevada can't handle the demand for testing, saying the supply is good. The community test sites will be closed on Thanksgiving and on Friday, but they'll open up again on Saturday. In Las Vegas, Max Darrow, News 3.
Hoop heads, listen up. Tomorrow is a big day because the 2020 college basketball season gets rolling and the Rebels start running. They host Montana State over at the Thomas & Mack tomorrow night at 6:30. Due to the current COVID situation here in the Valley, no fans will be in attendance. We got you covered. As for the Rebels, they're starting year 2 under Coach Otts and will look very different. 10 of their 13 scholarship players have yet to play in an actual game for UNLV. We've heard a lot about the sharpshooter, David Jenkins Jr., but for the scoop on some of the other newcomers, we turn to the man himself, TJ Otzelberger.
From an impact standpoint, Caleb Grill has probably been one that really stands out. He's physically tough. He can shoot the ball. He's a lockdown defender. He's done a tremendous job for us up to this point. Nick Blake has certainly had some moments. He's a guy that's versatility at the guard position at 6'6". He can dribble, pass, and shoot. And so he's stood out at times. Devin Tillis as a freshman is a guy that just makes the right play at the right time, and he makes shots. He's smart, high IQ. He's given us some really, good looks. And those are probably the guys at this point that have stood out the most.
Now, the Runnin Rebels aren't the only ones tipping off tomorrow. Led by first-year head coach Lindy La Rocque, the Lady Rebels are also getting their season rolling, opening up at home against the Northern Arizona Lumberjacks at 1:30. This year's group of Lady Rebels is talented but inexperienced, much like the men's team. They've only got 2 upperclassmen on the roster in senior Bailey Thomas and junior transfer Nia Johnson. Now, no matter the numbers or lack of experience, Las Vegas native Lindy La Rocque and her Lady Rebels are just ready to get this thing started already.
Our team has been working really hard the last 6 weeks. We started practice October 1st and we kind of hit the ground running. Obviously, our health and safety has been our absolute #1 priority as we kind of prepare for competition and to play this season. So that remains at the top, but I'd be remiss if we didn't say that we are super eager and excited to get out on the court together and to kind of show where our hard work has been and what we're looking to do.